The summer heat lingered over the city on July 12th, 2024, the air thick with the scent of grilled meat and blooming jasmine as I walked home from the market, bags of bread and fruit swinging in my hands. I, Alex, lived a simple life in this crowded town, a cramped apartment with creaky floors, a job at a dusty bookstore, and a wife, Lena, who filled the silence with her quiet strength. The day had been routine until a familiar face flashed by in a passing car. Mark, my old high school friend, his grin cutting through the tinted glass. He honked, pulling over, and shouted, "Alex, didn't expect you here. I'm in town for 2 days, business trip." The sight of him, taller, weathered, but with that same spark, stirred something in me, and I grinned. "Come over tonight. Let's catch up." He agreed, texted me later for the address, and I felt a rush of excitement, eager to revisit our past. Back at the apartment, the creak of the floorboards echoed as I set the bags down, the faint smell of old pages from work clinging to me. I told Lena about Mark, her eyes lighting up as she started dinner. Pasta with her special sauce, the kitchen filling with the rich aroma of tomatoes and herbs. I tidied up, the coffee table dusted, the couch fluffed, my mind drifting to old memories, Mark and I climbing trees, sneaking into late movies, laughing through that camping trip, where we got lost for hours. Those days felt distant, buried under years of routine, and now, with him back, I wanted to reclaim them. The doorbell rang, and there he was, backpack slung over his shoulder, his grin wide as he stepped in, hugging me with a warmth I'd missed. Lena's dinner was a hit. The three of us gathered around the table, the clink of glasses and her laughter blending with Mark's stories. We talked for hours, high school pranks, our first crushes, the garage fire from our failed experiment, each memory sparking laughter that filled the room. The wine flowed, the bottle emptying as the night deepened, the apartment's warmth a cocoon against the cooling air outside. I glanced at Lena, her smile soft, and felt a surge of gratitude. Our life, simple but ours, now enriched by this reunion. "I'll grab more wine," I said, standing, the chair scraping the floor, and stepped out, the night air hitting me as I headed to the corner store. Halfway there, I patted my pocket. Empty. The wallet, left on the table in my haste, forced me back, my footsteps quick on the pavement. The city's hum a distant pulse. I opened the door quietly, the apartment silent, except for a muffled sound in the living room. There, by the couch, Lena and Mark were locked in a kiss, her hands on his chest, his arms around her. Betrayal in plain sight. The bag slipped from my hands, the fruit thudding to the floor, and they jolted apart, her eyes wide, his face pale. "Get out!" I roared, my voice breaking, the room spinning. They stammered, gathering their things, and I watched, numb, as they left. Lena's sobs, Mark's apologies fading into the night. The door slammed, and I sank to the floor, the jasmine scent mocking me. The past I'd longed for now a wound I couldn't escape. The night of July 12, 2024, stretched into a hollow silence after Lena and Mark left, the apartment door slammed, echoing off the creaky walls. The spilled fruit from my dropped bags a scattered mess on the floor. I, Alex, sat slumped against the couch, the fabric rough under my trembling hands. The air thick with a lingering scent of jasmine from the balcony and the faint tang of tomato sauce from our ruined dinner. The image of them, Lena's hands on Mark's chest, his arms around her, burned behind my eyes, a betrayal that shattered the warmth we'd shared just hours before. My shout, "Get out!" still rang in my ears, her sobs as apologies fading into the summer night, leaving me alone with the wreckage of trust I'd built over years. The heat pressed in, the open window offering no relief, and I stayed there, numb, the clock ticking past midnight as a reality sank in. The next morning, July 13th, the sun blazed through the curtains, the light harsh on my swollen eyes, the apartment a tomb of memories. I cleaned the floor, the squashed fruit stain in my hands, the scent a bitter reminder of their laughter. Lena's side of the bed was empty, her clothes gone, a note on the pillow, "I'm sorry, I need time," her handwriting shaky, a coward's farewell. Mark's backpack, left behind in the rush, sat by the door, its present a taunt, and I kicked it, the pain in my foot a distraction from the ache in my chest. 5 years with Lena, Her quiet smiles, our late-night talks, the life we carved out in this cramped space, now tainted by that kiss. Mark, my friend since high school, our tree-climbing, movie-stealing days, reduced to this. I sank onto the couch, the creak of familiar groan, and let the tears fall, the heat outside mirroring the fire within. Tuesday, July 14th. I forced myself up, the floorboards protesting under my weight, the kitchen a battlefield of last night's dishes. I made coffee, the bitter aroma filling the room, but it tasted like ash, my hand shaking as I held the mug. I thought of our past, Lena and I meeting at a bookstore event, her laugh drawing me in, Mark visiting years ago, his stories weaving us closer. Now, that bond was a lie, and I replayed the evening, her cooking his charm, the wine loosening their guard. The betrayal stung deeper with each memory, and I wondered how long it had been happening. The thought twisting my gut. I called in sick to work, the bookstore's quiet refuge I couldn't face, and sat by the window, the city's hum a distant pulse, plotting my next move, silence, distance, or something more. Wednesday, July 15th. The heat wave broke with sudden rain, the drops pattering against the glass, the air cooling with the scent of wet earth. I rummaged through Mark's backpack, the zipper rasping, finding a phone charger, a notebook with scribbled plans, business meetings, but also a date. Lena, 7 p.m., proof of their deceit. The rain matched my mood, a steady drip to my growing anger, and I considered confronting them, but the thought faltered. Why give them my voice when I could take control? I started packing Lena's things, the rustle of fabric a rhythm to my resolve. Each item, her scarf, her books, a memory I boxed away. The apartment felt lighter, but the emptiness gnawed, and I sat, the rain a curtain, wondering if I'd ever trust again. Friday, July 17th. I ventured out, the streets damp and reflective, the air fresh with rain's aftermath, the cafe's warmth a brief solace. I met a co-worker, Elena, her kindness a contrast to my turmoil, and confided vaguely, personal mess, her nod a quiet support. Back at the room, the heaters hum a faint comfort. I research rentals, the laptop's glow a lifeline, planning to leave the space of betrayal. The notebook's date haunted me, and I decided to cut ties, change my number, move, start anew. The crutches I kept from an old injury leaned nearby, a symbol of past resilience, and I gripped them, the pain a reminder of my strength. Saturday, July 19th. I woke to a clearer sky, the room silent a relief, the rain gone, the air carrying a hint of summer bloom. I cooked, the sizzle of eggs a small victory, and packed more, photos, mementos, each a step away from them. Lena's note, Mark's backpack, the kiss, they were a wound, but I felt a shift, a resolve to heal. The city stretched out, a canvas for my future, and I knew the next step, leaving, would free me, the summer air promise of renewal, my heart a battlefield I'd reclaim, step by step. The move to my new flat on July 19th, 2024, felt like stepping into a different world. The summer breeze carrying the scent of freshly cut grass and distant exhaust as I wheeled my belongings inside, the air thick with the musty odor of an unlived space. I, Alex, had left the apartment, our shared life with Lena, behind, the weight of her note and Mark's backpack, traded for a small room near the city's edge, its peeling walls and sagging bed a blank slate. The crutches, a relic from an old injury, clattered against the floor as I unpacked, the rustle of clothes and the thud of boxes a rhythm to my fragile hope. The betrayal, Lena's kiss with Mark, the lies that unraveled our 5 years, still stung, but this move was my first step away. The summer heat a constant reminder of the night that broke me. That first night, the flat silence was oppressive. The weak fans hum a poor substitute for the heater's comfort. The open window, letting in the city's distant pulse. I set up my laptop. The screens glow a lifeline, and arrange my few possessions, books. A photo of me and Lena from better days, now face down. The image of them together haunted me, her hands on him, his arms around her, and I wonder how long it festered. The notebook's date. Lena, 7 p.m., a knife in my side. I thought of our early days, her laugh at the bookstore, our quiet nights, and felt a pang, the musty air heavy with loss. Sleep came fitfully, the bed creaking, and I woke to a gray dawn, the flat a mirror to my unsettled mind. Tuesday, July 21st, I ventured out, the streets alive with summer bustle, the air warm with the scent of street vendors and blooming flowers. I found a cafe, its shaded corner a refuge, the aroma of coffee a brief solace as I sat with my laptop, coding to steady my nerves. A co-worker, Elena, joined me, her gentle questions, "You okay?" A lifeline, and I shared a vague truth, rough breakup. Her support eased the weight, and I decided to lean on her, a new connection in this lonely start. Back at the flat, the fans I'm a constant. I unpacked more, the photos face-down position of choice, and began a journal, the pen scratch a release, writing of betrayal to purge at hold. Thursday, July 23rd, I tackled the flat, the mustiness fading with open windows, the breeze a promise of renewal. I hung a curtain, the fabric soft in my hands, and arranged books, each a step toward making this mine. The crutches supported me, the pain a reminder of past resilience, and I thought of Mark, our tree-climbing days now a lie, and Lena's care now a mask. The journal filled with anger, then sadness, and I felt a shift, a resolve to heal. The city's sounds, distant horns, children's laughter, filtered in, and I sat by the window, the summer light softening, planning to return to work, to reclaim my routine. Friday, July 25th, I woke to a clearer sky, the flat silent of relief, the fans hum a steady beat. I cooked, the sizzle of eggs a small triumph, and stood, unassisted for a moment, tears in my eyes at the progress. The betrayal had shattered me, but this new space, though sparse, was a foundation. I thought of Lena's note, Mark's silence, and felt the scars begin to fade, the summer breeze a whisper of hope. The laptop glowed as I coded, a project to channel my energy, and I knew the next step, rebuilding, lay ahead, the flatter witness to my fragile start, step by step, toward a life renewed. The week after settling into my new flat on July 25th, 2024, carried a fragile calm, the summer heat pressing against the cracked window, the air heavy with the scent of sun-baked pavement and faint jasmine from a balcony. I, Alex, sat at the rickety table, the wood warm under my hands. The fans become a constant companion as I adjusted to the sparse space. Peeling walls, a sagging bed, a life rebuilt from the ashes of Lena's betrayal. The crutches leaned nearby, a silent testament to my resilience, and the laptop's glow offered a distraction as I coded, trying to bury the image of her kiss with Mark. But on Monday, July 28th, while unpacking Forgotten Box, I found an old photo album, its leather cover cracked, its pages a portal to the past, and the calm shattered. I opened it, the pages rustling, the musty scent of aged paper filling the room, and there they were, Lena and Mark, frozen in happier times. A shot from our wedding, her smile radiant, me awkward but proud. Another from a beach trip, Mark laughing as we built a sandcastle, Lena splashing water. The memories flooded me, her quiet strength, our late-night talks, the bond with Mark from high school, tree-climbing movie nights, now tainted by that July 12th betrayal. My hands trembled, the album slipping, photos scattering across the floor, and I sank to my knees, the carpet rough against my skin, tears mixing with the dust. The heat outside mirrored the fire in my chest, and I felt the weight of the deceit anew, a wound I thought was healing. Tuesday, July 29th. I couldn't escape it. The album's images haunted me as I sat by the window, the city's hum a distant pulse. I picked up a photo of Mark and me, arms around each other after a soccer win, and remembered his grin, now a mask for his treachery. Lena's face in another shot, holding my hand at a fair, stirred a pang of loss, 5 years of trust reduced to a lie. The fans' hum grew irritating, and I threw the album into a corner, the thud of release, but the emotions lingered. I called Elena, my co-worker, her voice a lifeline. "Rough day?" And I admitted, old memories hit hard. She suggested a walk, and I agreed, the crutches support as I stepped out, the summer air a brief balm. Wednesday, July 30th. The walk helped. The streets alive with laughter and vendors, the scent of grillcore distraction, but the album's pull remained. Back at the flat, I retrieved it, the leather cool in my hands, and forced myself to look, each photo a lesson. I wrote in my journal, the pen scratched a rhythm, pouring out the pain, the anger, the love I'd lost, turning it into resolve. The crutches steadied me as I stood, the pain a reminder of my strength, and I decided to keep the album, not as a shrine, but as a marker of what I'd overcome. The city's lights twinkled to the window, and I felt a shift, a willingness to face the past to free myself. Thursday, July 31st, I woke to a clearer sky, the flat silent of relief, the fans hum a steady beat. I cooked, the sizzle of eggs a small victory, and reviewed the journal, the words catharsis. The betrayal, Lena's kiss marked silence, had broken me, but this album, this new space, was my reclaiming. I thought of our early days, her laugh, his camaraderie, now memories I could release, the summer heat of promise of renewal. The laptop glowed as I coded, a project to channel my energy, and I knew the next step, letting go fully, lay ahead, the flatter witness to my fragile strength, step by step, toward a life unburdened. The week after confronting the photo album on July 31st, 2024, brought a tentative shift, the late summer warmth seeping through the cracked window of my new flat, the air carrying the scent of drying grass and distant barbecues. I, Alex, sat at the rickety table, the wood smooth under my fingers from constant use. The fans hum a steady companion as I navigate a fragile piece I'd carved out. The crutches rested nearby, a reminder of my resilience, and the laptop's glow offered a distraction, but the memories, Lena's kiss with Mark, the scattered photos, still lingered, a shadow I was learning to face. That Monday, I decided to take a step forward, to return to the bookstore and seek a counselor, a choice to reclaim my life from the betrayal that had defined my summer. Monday, August 1st, I woke early, the flat silence of relief, the morning light soft on the peeling walls. I dressed, the shirt crisp against my skin, and gripped the crutches, the effort to stand a small victory, the pain a familiar ache. The walk to the bookstore was slow, the streets alive with summer laughter, the scent of coffee from a nearby stall a brief comfort. At work, the shelves' dusty aroma welcomed me, and Elena's smile, "Good to see you back," eased the tension. I managed to register, the clink of coins a rhythm, but Lena's face flashed in my mind, and I paused, the cash drawer cold under my hands. The day was a start, a routine to anchor me, and I felt a flicker of purpose amid the pain. Wednesday, August 3rd, I made the counseling call. The phones ring a nervous pulse. The flat's quiet amplifying my hesitation. The counselor's voice, warm but firm, "We'll work through this, offer hope," and I booked a session for Friday, the appointment a lifeline. I spent the day journaling. The pen scratch a release, writing of the wedding photo, Mark's grin, Lena's lies, turning the hurt into words. The fan's hum grew soothing, and I stood by the window, the city's hum a distant heartbeat, reflecting on our early days, her laugh, our plans, now a memory I could mourn. The crutches supported me, and I felt a resolve to heal, the summer air a whisper change. Friday, August 5th, the session arrived. The clinic sterile sent a contrast to my nerves. The counselors gnawed a steady presence. I spoke, stumbling at first, of the betrayal, the kiss, the expulsion, the tears flowing as I relived it. Her questions, "What do you need now?" prompted me to admit I needed peace, not revenge, a revelation that lightened my chest. Back at the flat, the heaters of my comfort, I cooked, the sizzle of vegetables a triumph, and reviewed my journal, the words a map of my progress. The betrayal had broken me, but this step, work, counseling, was my reclaiming. Saturday, August 6th, I woke to a clearer sky, the flat silence a sanctuary, the fans hum a steady beat. I stood longer, the crutches of support, and felt strength growing. The laptop glowed as I coded, a project to channel my energy, and I thought of Lena's note marked silence, the scars fading. The summer warmth promised renewal, and I knew the next step, forgiving myself, lay ahead, the flatter witness to my rising light, step by step, toward a healed life. The days after my counseling breakthrough on August 6, 2024, carried a fragile momentum, the late summer warmth filtering through the cracked window of my new flat, the air rich with the scent of ripening fruit and fading jasmine. I, Alex, sat at the rickety table, the wood worn smooth by my hands, the fans on a steady pulse as I settled into a rhythm. Work at the bookstore, sessions with the counselor, coding late into the night. The crutches leaned against the wall, a silent partner in my recovery, and the laptop's glow offered a distraction from the lingering ache of Lena's betrayal with Mark. But on Thursday, August 7th, a letter arrived, its envelope bearing her handwriting, and the peace I built trembled under the weight of her words. I opened it with shaky hands, the paper crinkling, the faint scent of her perfume, lavender, stirring memories as I read. Alex, it began, I'm sorry. What happened with Mark was a mistake, a moment of weakness. I've left him, and I beg your forgiveness. Can we talk? The words hit like a wave, the flat's quiet amplifying my racing heart, the fans fading into a distant buzz. 5 years with her, her quiet smiles, our shared dreams, now reduced to this plea, and Mark's grin from the photo album flashed, a betrayal I tried to bury. I dropped the letter, the paper fluttering to the floor, and sank onto the couch, the fabric rough against my skin, tears mixing with anger as the summer heat pressed in. Friday, August 8th. I couldn't shake it, the letter a ghost in the room, its lavender scent a taunt. I walked to the bookstore, the streets alive with late summer energy, the scent of grilled corn a brief escape, but Lena's words echoed, a moment of weakness. At work, Elena noticed my distraction, rough letter, and I nodded, confiding the gist. Her support steadied me. You don't owe her anything, and I returned to flat, the fans a comfort, resolving to ignore the plea. I journaled, the pen scratch a release, writing of her note, the kiss, the expulsion, turning the hurt into a shield against her reach. Sunday, August 10th. The letter's pull grew, and I reread it, the paper soft in my hands, her regret a mirror to my pain. I thought of our early days, her laugh at the fair, our quiet nights, and felt a pang, but also a hardening. The counselor's voice from Friday's session set boundaries, guided me, and I drafted a reply short and firm. No contact. I'm healing. The act was liberating. The laptop's glow a witness as I sent it, the crutches support as I stood, the flat silence a sanctuary. The betrayal had scarred me, but this was my line drawn. Tuesday, August 12th. I woke to a clearer sky, the flat's quiet relief, the fans a steady beat. I cooked, the sizzle of eggs a triumph, and reviewed the journal, the word a map of my strength. The letter was a test, but I had passed it, choosing myself over her regret. The summer warmth promised renewal, and I coded a project to channel my energy, knowing the next step, full recovery, lay ahead, the flatter witness to my resolve, step by step, toward a life untainted. The week after setting my boundary with Lena on August 12th, 2024 brought a subtle shift, the late summer breeze drifting to the cracked window of my flat, carrying the scent of drying leaves and distant bonfires. I, Alex, sat at the rickety table, the wood warm under my hands, the fans on a steady pulse as I embraced the progress I fought for, work at the bookstore, counseling sessions, the journal's pages filled with healing. The crutches leaned against the wall, a fading crutch, and the laptop's glow had become a beacon for a coding project I'd poured my soul into. On Wednesday, August 13th, I launched it, a small app for local book lovers, and the success, paired with my first unassisted steps, marked a turning point, a triumph of a betrayal that had defined my summer. Wednesday morning, I woke to a clear sky, the flat silence a sanctuary, the fans hum a gentle rhythm. I opened my laptop, the screen's light revealing a flood of downloads for the app, feedback pinging in, "Great work, Alex." A validation that lifted my chest. The project, born from late nights coding to escape Lena's memory, now thrived, and I felt a surge of pride, the scent of coffee from my mug a small celebration. But the milestone deepened when I stood, the crutches aside, and took 3 shaky steps, the floor's creak of victory cry, my legs trembling but holding. Tears stung my eyes, the summer warmth a witness to this reclaiming, the pain of Lena's kiss with Mark fading into a scar. Friday, August 15th. I shared the news with Elena at the bookstore, the dusty shelves of familiar comfort, the aroma of old pages mingling with her smile. "You're unstoppable." Her encouragement steadied me, and I returned to flat. The fans hum a solace, reflecting on the journey. The photo album, now closed, held memories. Lena's laugh, Mark's grin. Tainted but part me, and I journaled. The pen scratch a release, writing of the app's success. The steps, a life rebuilt. The counselor's words, celebrate your strength, echoed, and I felt a shift. The flats warmed a haven from the past. Sunday, August 17th. I tested my legs again, the crutches a backup, and managed 5 steps. The carpet soft underfoot, the effort triumphed over my old injury. I cooked, the sizzle of vegetables a ritual, and sat by the window, the city's hum a distant pulse. Thinking of Lena's letter, Mark's silence, the wounds healing. The app's success was mine, not theirs, and the physical strides mirror my emotional growth. The late summer breeze a promise of fall. I called my parents, their voices a balm. Proud of you, son, a tentative bridge. The flats quiet amplify my resolve. Monday, August 18th. I woke to a golden dawn. The flats silence a relief. The fans hum a steady beat. I stood longer. The crutches of memory encoded. The laptop's glow of future. The betrayal had broken me. But this milestone, app launched, steps taken, was my redemption. The summer waned, offering renewal, and I knew the next step, full recovery, lay ahead, the flatter witness to my rising spirit, step by step, toward a life renewed. The days after my milestones on August 18th, 2024, unfolded with gentle shift, the late summer giving way to early fall by Saturday, August 24th, the breeze to the cracked window carrying the crisp scent of falling leaves and distant harvest. I, Alex, sat at the rickety table, the wood warm from a heater's glow, the fan now silent as the season changed, its hum replaced by the flat's quiet heartbeat. The crutches, once a constant, now gathered dust in a corner, my legs steady enough for short walks, and the laptop's glow marked the success of my app, a beacon of my resilience. The betrayal, Lena's kiss with Mark, the shattered trust, had scarred me, but this week, I felt closure settle, a life rebuilt from the ruins of that July night, the fall air a promise of renewal. Tuesday, August 20th, I woke to a golden dawn, the flat silence a sanctuary, the window framing a world tinged with autumn hues. I walked, 10 steps unassisted, the floor's creak a triumph, my legs trembling but strong, tears of joy mixing with the morning light. The app's downloads grew, feedback praising its design, and I felt a surge of pride, the scent of coffee from my mug a quiet celebration. I thought of Lena's letter, her regret and Mark's silence, memories I boxed away with the photo album, now a closed chapter. The flat, once a refuge from pain, was becoming a home, and I journaled, the pen scratch a release, writing of my steps, my work, a life reclaimed. Thursday, August 22nd, I visited my parents, the drive to the countryside of Balm, the air rich with the smell of ripe apples and dry grass. Their embrace was tentative but warm. You're back, son. And we talked, the kitchen table a bridge, their pride easing the guilt I carried. I shared the app's success, my recovery, and felt a tearful reconciliation, the clink of teacups a rhythm to our healing. Back at the flat, the heaters hum a comfort. I reflected on Lena's laugh, Mark's grin, tainted but part of my past, and let them go, the window's view of falling leaves a symbol of release. Friday, August 23rd, I hosted Elena and a few co-workers. The flat filled with laughter, the aroma of homemade bread a triumph. The gathering was simple, but their support, claps of my app, cheers of my walk, lifted me, the summer's pain fading into shared joy. I stood longer, the crutches of memory, and felt a wholeness. The flats warmed a haven from betrayal. The counselor's words, "You've grown," echoed, and I knew this was my community now. Saturday, August 24th, I woke to a crisp dawn, the flats silent a relief, the heaters hum a steady beat. I cooked, the sizzle of eggs a ritual, and walked to the window, the city alive with fall colors, my legs steady. The betrayal had forged me, and now, with the app thriving, family mending, friends near, I embraced this horizon. The laptop glowed with new ideas, and I knew my next step, thriving fully, lay ahead, the flatter witness to my renewed spirit, step by step, toward a life unburdened.